In a world where gods and demons roamed freely, there was a being known as Asura. He was a demigod, a wrathful deity with immense power and a temper to match. Asura was a force of destruction, a being fueled by rage and driven by vengeance. Less than greater than Asura's wrath knew no bounds, and he craved chaos and carnage wherever he went. His power was unmatched, his strength unparalleled. With each step he took, the ground trembled beneath him, and the skies darkened with his fury. Less than greater than Asura's appearance was fearsome, with a body covered in intricate tattoos that glowed with an otherworldly light. His eyes burned with a fiery intensity, and his long, black hair whipped around him like a storm. Less than greater than, but it was not just his physical strength that made Asura so fearsome. It was his sheer unpredictability, his willingness to do whatever it took to achieve his goals. He was a being of wild impulses and unchecked madness, a force of nature that could not be contained. Less than greater than Asura's rage was like a hurricane, unstoppable and unrelenting. He tore through his enemies with savage brutality, his fists leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. He cared nothing for the consequences of his actions, only for the bitter satisfaction of seeing his foes laid low. Less than greater than, but as powerful as Asura was, there was a darkness within him that even he could not control. His temper flared at the slightest provocation, and he was prone to fits of unbridled fury that left devastation in their wake. Less than greater than, it was this uncontrollable rage that made Asura so dangerous, so unpredictable. He was a being of pure emotion, driven by his own inner demons to commit unspeakable acts of violence. Less than greater than, and it was this darkness that ultimately consumed him, blinding him to the consequences of his actions. Asura's wrath knew no bounds, and in his blind rage, he destroyed all that stood in his path. Less than greater than, but even as Asura raged on, there were those who saw something more in him. They saw a being in pain, a soul tormented by his own inner demons. And in that pain, they saw a glimmer of something more, something that could perhaps be redeemed. Less than greater than, and so, they sought to reach out to Asura, to bring him back from the brink of madness and restore him to his rightful place as a protector of the realm. It was a daunting task, to be sure, for Asura's wrath was like a force of nature, unstoppable and unrelenting. Less than greater than, but with patience and understanding, they began to chip away at the walls Asura had built around himself, to reach the wounded soul at his core. And slowly but surely, they began to see a change in Asura, a flicker of humanity in his eyes that had long been lost. Less than greater than, and as Asura's rage began to subside, a new purpose emerged within him. He no longer sought destruction for its own sake, but instead fought to protect those who could not protect themselves. He channeled his immense power into a force for good, a defender of the weak and a punisher of the wicked. Less than greater than, and so, Asura's wrath was transformed from a force of destruction to a beacon of hope. He stood as a symbol of redemption, a being who had risen above his own demons to become something greater. Less than greater than, and though the darkness still lingered within him, Asura now had something to strive for, a purpose to guide him on his journey. He was no longer the rampaging demigod of old, but a new being altogether, a being of compassion and strength. Less than greater than, and so, Asura's story came to an end, not in a blaze of glory, but in a quiet moment of peace. His legacy lived on, a reminder to all that even the darkest of souls could find redemption in the light. And so, Asura's wrath was tamed, his madness tempered by the power of love and forgiveness.